The rain hammered against the hospital window as Alex sat in the waiting room, his phone clutched in trembling hands. The screen displayed a message he'd typed and deleted a dozen times. "I'm sorry. 3 months ago, everything had been different." Alex and Jordan had been best friends since childhood. They'd grown up on the same street, shared the same dreams, and promised they'd always have each other's backs. Jordan was the kind of friend who showed up at 3 a.m. when you needed him, who remembered your favorite songs, who made you laugh when the world felt too heavy. But then Sarah had come into their lives. Alex had met her first at a coffee shop near campus. She had long dark hair, a smile that lit up rooms, and a laugh that sounded like music. They'd started dating, and for the first time in his life, Alex felt like he'd found something real. What he didn't know was that Jordan had fallen for her too. Silent, secret suffering alone. The friendship had started cracking in small ways. Jordan canceling plans. Short text responses. Avoiding eye contact. Alex had noticed but told himself it was stress from exams, from family issues, from anything except the truth that was festering beneath the surface. Then came that night 2 weeks ago. They'd all gone to a party together. Alex had stepped away to take a phone call from his mother, and when he came back, he saw them, Jordan and Sarah, standing too close on the balcony, her hand on his arm, both of them laughing in a way that made Alex's stomach drop. He'd exploded. Words he could never take back poured out of him like poison. He'd called Jordan a traitor, accused Sarah of playing games, said things designed to wound as deeply as he'd been wounded. "You were never really my friend," Alex had spat, his voice breaking. "You've just been waiting for your chance, haven't you?" Jordan's face had gone pale. "Alex, it's not. Get out. Both of you. I never want to see either of you again." Sarah had tried to explain through tears that it had been nothing. Just a conversation, just comfort, because Jordan had been struggling with something he hadn't told anyone about. But Alex hadn't listened. He'd been drowning in betrayal and anger, and he'd wanted them to drown too. Jordan had left without another word, his eyes red but dry, his shoulders hunched like he was carrying the weight of the world. That was the last time Alex had seen him conscious. The next day, Jordan's mother had called. Her voice had been barely recognizable through the sobbing. Jordan had been in a car accident late that night. A truck had run a red light. Jordan was in critical condition, unconscious, and the doctors weren't sure if he'd wake up. Alex had rushed to the hospital, guilt crashing over him in waves. Sarah was already there, her face blotchy from crying. She'd grabbed his arm when she saw him. "There's something you need to know," she'd whispered. The reason Jordan seemed distant ... He'd been diagnosed with depression 6 months ago. He was struggling, Alex, that night at the party. He was telling me he'd been having dark thoughts. He needed help, and I was trying to get him to talk to someone. "To talk to you?" The words had shattered something inside Alex, all those canceled plans. The distance, the silence. Jordan hadn't been betraying him. He'd been drowning, reaching out in the only way he could, and Alex had been too wrapped up in his own insecurities to see it. Now, sitting in that waiting room with rain beating against the windows, Alex stared at his phone. He'd been here every day for 2 weeks, watching Jordan lie motionless in that hospital bed, machines breathing for him, monitors beeping out a rhythm that might soon flatline. The doctors had said there was minimal brain activity. They'd recommended that Jordan's family consider letting him go. Alex's thumb hovered over the send button on his phone. He typed out everything he needed to say, the apology, the memories, the love he'd never properly expressed, the regret that was eating him alive from the inside out. But who would read it? Jordan couldn't. His phone was in a plastic bag with his other belongings, recovered from the crash. The message would sit there, unread, a testimony to everything Alex had realized too late. A doctor emerged from the double doors, his expression grave. Jordan's mother stood up, her husband supporting her. Alex stood too, his legs weak beneath him. "I'm sorry," the doctor said quietly. "We did everything we could." The world seemed to tilt. Alex's phone slipped from his hands, clattering on the linoleum floor. The unsent message still glowed on the cracked screen. "I'm sorry." Jordan's mother collapsed into her husband's arms, her sobs echoing through the sterile hallway. Sarah sank into a chair, her hands covering her face, and Alex stood frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe, unable to process that his best friend, his brother and everything but blood, was gone. Gone because a truck had run a red light. Gone because Alex had driven him away when he needed help most. Gone before Alex could say sorry, before he could say I love you, before he could say all the things that friends should say to each other before it's too late. At the funeral, 3 days later, rain fell again. Alex stood at the grave, clutching his phone, staring at that unsent message. He thought about deleting it 1,000 times, but he couldn't. It was all he had left, this digital artifact of words. Jordan would never read, an apology that would never be accepted, forgiveness that would never be granted. Sarah stood beside him, her hand finding his. They hadn't gotten back together. That had ended the night of the party. Another casualty of misunderstanding and pain. But they stood together now, united in grief, in regret, in the devastating knowledge that they'd both failed someone they loved. As the casket was lowered into the ground, Alex finally pressed send. The message went through to Jordan's old number, delivered but never to be read. It felt meaningless and essential all at once. Later that night, alone in his room, Alex opened his photo gallery. Picture after picture of Jordan smiling, laughing, living. In one photo from last summer, they had their arms around each other, both grinning at the camera, the sunset golden behind them. They'd been on a road trip, singing badly to old songs, eating terrible gas station food, talking about their dreams for the future. Jordan had been quiet that day too, Alex remembered now. There had been moments when his smile had slipped, when sadness had clouded his eyes. Alex had noticed and asked if he was okay. Jordan had said he was fine, just tired. Alex had accepted that answer because it was easier than pushing, easier than confronting something difficult, easier than being the friend Jordan had needed him to be. The weight of that realization crushed him. He'd spent 2 weeks at Jordan's bedside, begging him to wake up, promising he'd be better, promising they'd talk about everything if Jordan would just open his eyes. But death doesn't negotiate, and second chances don't come to those who waste the first one. Alex closed his eyes, tears streaming down his face, and whispered into the darkness of his empty room, "I'm sorry, brother. I'm so sorry." The words dissolved into the silence, joining all the other unspoken apologies. All the other words left unsaid. All the other chances that would never come again. Outside, the rain continued to fall. The end. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more emotional stories. Remember to tell the people you love that you care about them. Tomorrow is never guaranteed.